the information you will ever need is in your paper. We even tell you the problems, the death wish. We tell you under no circumstances whatsoever, while you are doing this for about 3 weeks, touch anything that has any garlic whatsoever. Garlic oil, garlic salt, garlic butter in your salad dressing or food, because garlic, when it gets into the blood, is a deadly poison. Did you know this? You can drink rattlesnake venom and it won't hurt you. But don't get that rattlesnake venom into a wound or a cut or an ulcer. You will die if you don't have an antivenom. Garlic has a compound called sulfone, S-U-L-F-O-N-E, hydroxyl, which passes the blood-brain barrier. That means if you rub a clove of garlic on the sole of your foot, in about 2 minutes you'll smell it on your wrist. You know this. It carries past the corpus callosum, poisons both brain hemispheres. I discovered this in the 1970s when I was personally the largest manufacturer of ethical EEG, electroencephalographic biofeedback equipment in the United States. And people would come back to a class, doctors that we were training to use this, and be clinically dead on the EEG machine. We found that that had a little garlic in their salad. It totally dissociates the left and right hemisphere. You can see this by running your electrodes frontal, up here by the third eye, to the occipital, just over this little bump on the back of your head. You want to put your money up? You'll lose. We had this investigated at a Northern California medical college. They found that garlic killed tens of thousands of brain cells, even in the small amount you got in the salad dressing. But it doesn't matter. You've got billions of trillions of cells in your brain, and people with the brain the size of a walnut, microcephalus, hydrocephalus, etc., can be mathematical geniuses, musicians, and what have you. Now, this is the most politically incorrect thing I could tell you. Most people think garlic is a health food. It isn't. The people I've gotten off of garlic because we've shown them that bullets used to be rubbed in garlic in World War I and II. They didn't have to kill anyone by hitting him in the heart. If he was just nicked, he would die. When I bought a blowgun from Jim Solomon up at the Global Sciences in Denver, he took me out in the hall and said, "Bob, if you want to kill somebody, just get a clove of garlic. Push the point of your dart gun, your blowgun projectile into that, and he will die very rapidly." The CIA is trained to use this, trained to use oleander leaves, which are an alkaloid. 6 leaves will kill a human being. Trained to use water infusions of nicotine, which is another deadly poison in the blood. So we have published a list, which we don't have here tonight, of things you do not take. Beta-carotene is one of these. Vitamin A is deadly poison if the dosage is elevated. And what I'm doing here, for those of you who are researchers or health professionals, yelling, castor oil is a poison.
That something that has really astounded me. I knock out a cold within hours with garlic and echinacea, podiarco tea, etc. I take 25,000 of beta-carotene a day. That has kept my immune system so strong I hardly ever get a cold. And I drink Willard water with the castor oil. And I've never felt better in the last 6 years. Now, are you taking these things? And if you are saying that, I'll believe you. But just, I want to hear it. Should I stop taking those things?
I can't advise. If I gave medical advice, it's a felony in California, and I can't use the word cure. But if you're an organic gardener and want to kill everything, and you don't want to use DDT, use garlic. You know that. It's a deadly poison for any parasite, any mites, any bugs. They won't come near it. And the human beings we've gotten off of garlic, Dr. Andreas Marks, M-A-R-X, homeopathic physician, and many, many others have gotten people off garlic. They no longer have the low-grade headaches, the confusion, the fatigue in the afternoon. They kiss the ground this doctor walks on. Because you will find that garlic is a poison. It has been known. They do not allow garlic in any ashrams, temples in the East. The Church of Scientology even forbids garlic to be taken on any of the ships or the organizations. It's just totally forbidden because they know when people take it, the shamans can no longer do psychic work. Their hemispheres are desynchronized. They've known this for thousands of years. And my advice was simply get off of it for 3 weeks. Take a garlic clove again, see how you feel, and then you tell me whether you ever want to experience that again. Okay? Thank you.
In addition to garlic, do you have any advice regarding other things such as onions, leeks, other...
These are forbidden to people who are shamans, etc., because they have observed for centuries that when they take anything in this family, they're no longer psychic, but they think they are. They think they're channels. They think they're getting the word from the spirits, and they're not. And a day or two after they've eaten these things, they can do it again, which is why they're forbidden in most practices.
But how...
Garlic, a brain poison. From Garlic Toxic Shock, reprinted from Nexus Magazine, February-March 2001. Source: from a lecture by physicist Dr. Robert C. Beck, given at the Whole Life Expo, Seattle, in March 1996. Garlic is so toxic. It is a specific poison for higher life forms and brain cells. The reason garlic is so toxic is that it contains the sulfone hydroxyl ion that penetrates the blood-brain barrier, just like DMSO, a sulfur oxide. And this sulfone hydroxyl ion is a specific poison for higher life forms and brain cells. We discovered this, much to our horror, when I, Bob Beck, was a manufacturer of EEG electroencephalography equipment. We'd have people in our testing programs come back from lunch, and we would find that their brains looked clinically dead on an encephalograph, which we used to calibrate their progress. We would ask, "Well, what happened?" They would say, "Well, I went to an Italian restaurant and there was some garlic in my salad dressing. So we had them sign things that they wouldn't touch garlic before classes, or we were wasting their time, their money, and my time." Maybe some of you are pilots or have been in flight tests. I was in flight test engineering in Doc Hallen's group in the 1950s. The flight surgeon would come around every month and remind all of us, "Don't you dare touch any garlic 72 hours before you fly one of our airplanes, because it'll double or triple your reaction time. You're 3 times slower in your reaction time than you would if you'd not had a few drops of garlic." Well, we didn't know why for 20 years later, until we were using electroencephalograph equipment, and we found out that garlic usually desynchronizes your brain waves. This means it makes your alpha waves go away and replaces it with beta waves, which then make you tense and anxious. So I funded a study at Stanford University, and sure enough, they found that it's a poison. You can rub a clove of garlic on your foot. You can smell it shortly later on your wrists, so it penetrates the body. This is why DMSO smells a lot like garlic. That sulfone hydroxyl ion penetrates all the barriers, including the corpus callosum in the brain. If you have any patients who have low-grade headaches or attention deficit disorder or they can't quite focus on the computer in the afternoon, just do an experiment. You owe it to yourselves. Take these people off the garlic and see how much better they get, very, very shortly. And then let them eat a little garlic after about 3 weeks. They'll say, "My God, I had no idea that this was the cause of our problems." And this includes the deskunked garlic, kyolic, some of the other products. For garlic fanatics, this is making me very unpopular, but I've got to tell you the truth.